We're on. Hey, everybody, it's the Robert Scott Bell Show live from Grown in Miami. Grown is the place where you can go and have some organic food that's pretty darn fast. We just ordered some, and it's I think it's up here. We're going to have some mid-afternoon dinner, lunch, somewhere in between. And
Late lunch, early dinner. We're going to call it a dinner.
And I ran into Shannon. She is the owner. Alan, right, with your husband
I'm
Ray?
the creator of Grown, that's correct.
You guys know him from the NBA, shooting hoops that I can't do, right? But he believes and she believes in growing kids organically, non-GMO, just like you see on this shirt. Remember that?
That's right.
And so we're excited we actually got to be here, and she's here, and my kids are here, and we're going to have a wonderful meal. We'll talk about it after the fact, but Shannon, what was it that inspired you to open up a fast food organic restaurant? Because most people are like, fast food can't be good. It can't.
Sure can. So in 2008, our little boy Walker was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. And that was really the moment that kind of changed our lives forever. It made me a better mother, a better wife, a better friend, and an activist. I also became his caregiver.
How old was he when this happened?
17 months old.
17 months old. So folks, you know we tackle controversial issues, including vaccine-induced autism, vaccine-induced autoimmunity, including, I've said this for years on my show, that the type 1 diabetes primarily a responsible cause vaccines that induce an autoimmune response attacking the cells of the pancreas in this case, and that may have been what happened.
Maybe,
here.
but also we lived in an area outside of Boston that was actually a diabetes cluster. And they're doing a research study at this moment, a really brilliant researcher actually named Denise Condon, who's researching to see if in fact there is a connection with where we lived, maybe some groundwater issues, because there was a very high disproportionate amount of kids with type 1. There's only 2 million people on the planet with type 1 diabetes, and that means there should only be 1 out of every 4,400 kids with type 1. But in our neighborhood, there were over 200 children.
Right.
So within a mile of my house, there was about 200 kids. And I noticed it because every time I would go to get my morning coffee after dropping the kids off at school, I would see those same moms and dads at the Joslin Diabetes Center, which is the preeminent care facility for type 1 diabetes on earth.
Wow.
So to see those faces, after a while, you kind of wonder, is something going on here? Yeah.
Now, there's a lot of environmental assaults and insults on this planet. We've talked about it. That's why we eat organic, because we can't control everything in our environment, but we can make better choices about what we put in our body and our kids' bodies. And of course, the issue of vaccines, a controversial one.
Sure.
I don't shy away from it, but the reality is, could it be the straw that breaks the camel's back in an area where you have other environmental stressors on a little baby, right?
My
or
God.
even prior to that, because your body, my wife's body, before we even have kids, we have a lot of things that can accumulate to create a scenario where a tipping point occurs.
Absolutely.
And we've got a real disaster. That's why we've got to get cleaner food in our system, especially our kids. If you don't do it for yourself, do it for your kids like you're doing.
Yeah, I mean, I have 5 children, and as I said before, this Grown was really born from a place of pure frustration. After Walker was diagnosed, I kind of became an activist for him and learned as much as I possibly could about diabetes, but also eating. And I'd already been cooking for my husband, who's a professional athlete, arguably the best three-point shooter of all time.
He was awesome.
19-year
Ray Allen.
NBA career.
Amazing. Yes.
But I was literally on my way to the grocery store one night to buy stuff, all organic stuff to make for dinner, because I've always kind of gravitated towards a more organic, kind of earthy, crunchy granola life. My parents are both hippies from Central Connecticut, and my dad grew a huge garden, and my grandparents on my mom's side actually were farmers.
Yeah.
So I grew up kind of eating real food. But I was on my way to the grocery store one night and walked about a low blood sugar in the car, and I needed food now. So if you know anything about diabetes, and especially type 1, when you have a low blood sugar, it translates loosely to needs food now. Like now. Like not in a few minutes, like now.
But how do you get clean food at that point?
Well,
right?
at that point, I needed anything from a drive-thru.
Sure.
But when I looked around and saw what was being offered in a drive-thru, I realized pretty quickly it wasn't dinner.
Yeah.
You know, it was a snack at best. And, you know, I became really frustrated, and I felt very powerless. And I remember phoning it into a friend that was an executive chef after driving in and out of all of these drive-thrus up and down the highway.
Yeah.
And realizing that just about everything that was being offered, high fructose corn syrup, came out of a freezer,
trans
went
fats,
into
right?
a fryer-later or a microwave, and not anything that I was prepared to make him for dinner. So I called it into a friend that was an executive chef at a restaurant and said, I need 3 kids' meals and a bowl of chicken tortilla soup. And I left my kids in a running car, which is like not a proud moment, very scary.
Right.
But I was desperate.
Desperate, sure.
And it was $63.
Wow.
I grew up in a family, my parents are still married, but all the women in my family are single black moms. You know, they worked 3 and 4 jobs, they put their kids through college, you know, they paid all the bills, did all the housework. They did it all. $63 for one of my aunts. Even my parents, that was groceries for a week. It wasn't a quick dinner on the fly.
Right.
And when I got home, I felt like in a dark place. And I'm a really positive person. I don't believe in the word no. I don't believe in the word impossible. I really feel like, whatever it is that you set your mind to, you can have.
Sure.
Just believe in yourself, and I believe in living in abundance.
Great, abundant attitude. This is something that can inspire all of y'all. It certainly inspires me. I love that. Absolutely love that. So,
but yeah, I remember just feeling very low, and after I made sure Walker was safe, that's my middle child with type 1, and all the boys to bed, I took a hot shower, I was pregnant, and I sat on my shower floor sobbing, and then I got out and I kind of looked at myself in the mirror and said, nobody's coming to save you. Somebody needs to reinvent fast food, and nobody's going to do it for you. And I called my husband and said,
let's do this.
nobody has enough gumption to reinvent fast food, I'm going to do it. And that took 8 years. Eight
yeah,
years
sure
to get my doors open. But now you're standing in my living, breathing, thriving
I heard
dream.
about it, and I said, I got to go. And we found a way, an excuse, and we're here. And guess who's here? Shannon's here.
Yeah, the
So,
universe.
wow, really beautiful. Listen, we're going to eat because we're hungry. I don't want it to go cold. And if she's still around, we'll do a follow-up and we'll tell you about our experience eating the food grown, and hopefully hear about the growth of grown in other areas, because I hear it may be growing.
Grown is growing.
Grown is growing. So we'll get together with her after the meal if she's still around. Everybody, Robert Scott Bell Show tonight. I got a very special local doctor of chiropractic doing very innovative work we're going to talk about on here. Also, Ty Bollinger and I go outside the box as we do every Wednesday, and he'll be on later as well. So stick around. Go to robertscottbell.com. Tell your friends the place for health, freedom, and healing liberty right here, and the place to eat organic food in Miami. And it's fast.
Yep.
Yeah.
Organic
Right here at
fast
Grown.
food, right here at Grown.
All right, y'all.
Thanks,
The power
Robert.
to heal is yours. We'll be back soon.